Braxis holdout for Banzai Legends, who are going to have the first pick and first ban. This is the map choice of Smash Mouth All-Stars. So I'm sure they've got some kind of strategy ready to go. And let's see what they pull out here, what they want to prioritize and go for. Taking plenty of time figuring out what they want to ban here. A couple things I really don't want to face on this map. Sergeant Hammer is definitely one of them. Big stationary target. They can just sit there and pound one station in at a time. And Zagara, you know. But Sylvanas is actually also something you really don't want to face. So, a lot of specialists. Gazlo, I would put on that list, is something that I could face on this map, but it's something that I'd really like to avoid having to play against. And also just the concept of both of shutting down towers. Sylvanas is a very, very good hero on this map because of her ability to aid in that huge Zerg push. She's also not bad at being able to pressure on certain points, but Medivh is going to be the pickup here for Banzai Legends. So right away, they are going with the Guardian Medivh, and they are going to be ready to get some scouting done. With that Raven form, he is able to go all around the map, giving them a perfect idea of what Smash Mouth All-Stars rotations are going to be like, but electing to not take Zagara here. That's a very interesting draft pick to start this off. Medivh as the first pick. Is Medivh really somebody that needs to be prioritized so highly? Is Smash Mouth All-Stars gonna pick Medivh in their first two picks? Because they basically handed Smash Mouth All-Stars the ability to get Zagara, but they are going to actually elect to take Zol instead. I feel like we're at Easter time, and and we're all playing in the yard with our little Easter eggs everywhere, and somebody's hidden the golden ticket in one of these eggs. I know exactly where it is, but no one's found it yet. I feel like Zagara is the best hero in the format right now, but Brightwing and Zol are very good pickups all their own. Brightwing, good on this map for the constant rotations that could be coming out from that global phase shift ability. Zol also very good in either aiding the push of the Zerg or countering against it to be able to turn some of the regular minions into skeletal minions to distract some of that wave. So, and just in general, you gotta prioritize wave clear on this map. It is a really, really big deal. Medivh has decent wave clear. Johanna has great wave clear, but there it is. Banzai will go ahead and pick up the Zagara, who also, again, is fantastic wave clear. Not to mention the site. The creep being all over the place will give them another really good way to be able to scout out the rotations. And that's a big deal on this map. Having a general idea of where your opponents are going and which of the 2 points they're trying to put most of their stock in gives you an advantage in being able to strategize how to counter that. And it's just so important. Lunara, I think, is a really, really good hero on this map because she's good at pressuring points from a distance. She's fantastic at poke, and with that, Wisp can just constantly be scouting where the rotations are going. And but Li Ming is going to be the ban out for Smash Mouth All-Stars. That's also an interesting choice. They could have elected to pick up the best burst damage dealer in the game, but instead decides to go ahead and give her up. This is not Li Ming's best map, though. With the way the Zerg push works, she's not able to get a whole lot of those abilities across the line. Just can't quite get through those Zerg and can't get a whole lot of value in a counter push. Can aid really, really well in the Zerg push. Can be right in the middle of that Zerg push, constantly throwing out her abilities to pressure the opponent away from being able to clear that. But also not very good at holding points. She's good at poking and damaging for days, but she can't actually hold one herself very well. But Kerrigan is going to be the ban out here for Smash Mouth. I've seen a lot of Kerrigan on this map in the little amount of time I've spent playing on it in Hero League. Kerrigan can be a real terror when you know where your opponents are going to be rotating to. There's a lot of very predictable rotations on this map, so a lot of places that Kerrigan can hide in one of these steam vents to be able to jump on somebody when she's good and ready. So a good ban there. I really like that. They probably weren't going to take Kerrigan with their comp. They really need, they do want probably another frontliner. So Kerrigan could have worked, but then they really also kind of want a second support, I think, other than Medivh. So Chromie pickup here from Smash Mouth All Stars. This is interesting. So we've got a Medivh on one side and a Chromie on the other. I don't know about Chromie on this map. She doesn't have super good wave clear. She can do some things with her W for that wave clear, but it's not very powerful. At the very least, can pressure from a very, very safe distance on these points. So it could work. It could work. Greymane is going to be the pickup. That's a pick that I really like with Chromie. So Chromie's biggest weakness is that her damage isn't very dependable. It's a lot of it is RNG based on where your opponent is going to move. And so at certain times you can hit big, big hits and even get kills. But a lot of times you'll get one or two of your abilities to land on a few people and they'll end up waddling away with really, really low health. So you need somebody that can dive in and get those finishes. And there's nobody better than Greymane being able to go for the throat and get those kills. Meanwhile, Ariel is going to be the pickup for Banzai Legends. Really like that to pair with Medivh. Ariel's got really, really good sustainability, but she needs a burst damage dealer. So this is the question. Who is going to be the burst damage dealer for Banzai? Who are they going to constantly be having rotating with Ariel? And in those team fights, being able to feed her a lot of energy to be able to get her healing out. From this point, there's not a lot of great options. Could go for a Vala. But a Rainer is also not a bad pickup. Constant damage. Not burst, but constant. But I personally prefer Ariel to be paired with a Li Ming type hero where you're getting a lot of burst damage out. Greymane can also be a pretty decent pickup. Just somebody that's able to get a lot of damage at once so you can get the spikes of energy for Ariel. Be able to keep her team alive in those team fights. Ariel doesn't put out very good healing numbers in an overall sense, but she puts out good solid spike healing to be able to get a lot done when it comes down to those team fights. And all the heals in all the right places is how I like to put that for Ariel. So we are going to see Muradin is going to close it out for Smash Mouth All-Stars. They needed a tank, they needed a frontliner, so ETC still on the board, but they are going to elect instead to go with Muradin, particularly after that Rainer pickup, which makes sense. Rainer with that constant knockback is a very, very good counter to Mosh Pit and ETC. Johanna, of course, off the board. So the holy trinity of tanks, the Muradin, Johanna, and ETC, I feel like everybody else is just a slight step behind in the pure tank department. So Muradin will be the pickup, feeling like that's the best in this situation. As far as draft goes, I would give a slight edge to Banzai Legends. I like their ability to be able to hold 2 points at once and the scouting that Zagara and Medivh can supply to be able to give them an idea of where Smash Mouth All-Stars is rotating. But it's not a closed case. I don't feel like they've lost this in the draft. I just feel like it's going to be an uphill battle for Smash Mouth going. They're going to have to make some really big plays. They're going to have to make some nice rotations, utilize that Bright Wings globals, and just in general get good picks. I do like Chromie and Greymane. I think there's a lot to like there. Also, Zol and Chromie is a pretty good combo. With Zol's root, can make it very, very easy for Chromie to be able to hit those combos. So a lot to like about Smash Mouth All-Stars comp as well. And let's not forget, this is Brax's Holdout. It does say Battlefield of Eternity at the top, but it would appear as though Brax's Holdout maybe hasn't quite been added to the top drafter yet. So this is indeed going to be played out on Brax's Holdout. On the left, we're going to have Banzai Legends, that Mr. Matt on Johanna, Goose on Zagara, the Doctor on Medivh, Mac Burger King on Rainer, and J006 on Ariel. Meanwhile, on the right, we're going to have the Smash Mouth All-Stars is going to be your red team. We'll have Snail Pound on Zol, Grar on Brightwing, Chef Pablo on Greymane, Blackout on Muradin, and Solo on Chromie. Gotta love the coordinated Nova portraits on the right side of the screen. That's always nice to see. It's nice when a team is ready to play like a very, very stealthy team, you know?
Facility.
And I think just in general, there is a little bit of an advantage to any team that has Zagara right now. I think that she is just such a terror in a general sense on a lot of these maps. It's just hard to not give them a little bit of an edge. She's just got so much in her kit that just makes her so powerful. We'll have to see how Medivh works out. You know, we don't get to see a whole lot of Medivh. Clearly the Doctor's got something up his sleeve with that Medivh pick. They're ready to go for this match. Looks like both teams are going to send their specialist to the top and everybody else to the bottom as the battle begins indeed. My first match at maximum effort. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of effort out of Chromie for this one. Whiffing right off the bat with those, but Chromie, it's not about how many you hit. It's about how many you throw, because eventually some of them are going to land. It's just science, you know. Eventually, some of those Chromie hits are going to land. Particularly when you get around a corner, you get out of line of sight where the opponent can't see where you're throwing those abilities and when. Makes it a little bit easier for her to be able to get some value out of those abilities. But as you can see, it's not predictable damage. You know, it's not very easy for Chromies to hit those Qs and those Ws. But we'll get a couple there. And Chromie is going the Q build. So particularly in this early phase, looking to hit those Qs, the more Qs that Solo can land, the bigger deal it's going to be over the long haul. Personally, I think I like the W build on this map in particular because it's so important to get that wave clear out. And in a world where Zol is soloing up in the top up against Zagara and winning that just by a little bit right now. It makes it a little harder for Chromie to get any hits right now, but completely out of mana at this point is Solo. At some point he's going to have to go back to get some mana if she wants to continue to get these abilities out. Personally, I usually when I'm playing Chromie, and it's not very often, I don't bother throwing down my my hourglass early in the match because it's just so mana inefficient, and you don't get a lot of value out of it until the rotations start for the objectives. But here we are. The beacons have activated. Right away, Zol's going to go ahead and go capture the top. Snail Pound getting that, so each one is going to get one to start off here. But we will see Zagara making that rotation after hitting the B button. Goes ahead and gets the health. So Goose should have a slight advantage, at the very least in the mana pool department. But right now, a complete dominating effort by Banzai Legends on this bottom one is controlling it completely, this bottom beacon. Neither team getting any Zerg just yet. You have to control both of these beacons in order to start charging up your Zerg pens. We will see Banzai Legends will be the first one to capture as Goose is able to successfully push out Snail Pound for a little bit. Not going to be able to keep it for very long with Grar going ahead and phase shifting to the top, but Snail Pound still very low. Does have to be careful here, as does Goose. Grar still full health down here, but they will go ahead and recapture that. 22% of the Zerg have been tossed into the pin, as you guys can see, starting to get a little bit, but Red team able to take down Zagara there. The first kill of the game is going to go over to Smash Mouth All-Stars. But Zol is going to take the kill from the tower in response here. Getting a little bit too greedy on trying to push that up in the top lane. Grar still holding this for now, but they've got creep all over it. This is not a secret who is on this, and they're actually going to see the Doctor, it looks like, along with Zagara coming up to answer to this. Zol is going to be a little late on the rotation with that longer death timer. Meanwhile, the battle rages on in the bottom over this bottom beacon. A lot to really cover on this map. You can never have too many eyes on this one, as we see South Pablo getting very, very low and out of position here on the wrong side of this team fight. Is going to actually be able to waddle away, though, with next to no health. However, the Doctor has something to say about that and is actually going to get the kill and portal his way on out of there. Very nice move from the Doctor there, showing us the Medivh moves. And for now, this is going to be recaptured by the blue team on the bottom lane. They were able to hold the top for a little while as well, to be able to get up to 58%. They have got their first Ultralisk. For those of you who aren't very familiar with Brax's hold, once one team has gotten all 100% filled, then both chambers will release the Zerg. upon both the bottom and top lanes. It's a lot like what we saw in Haunted Mines back in the old days when you would have 2 different golems, and each one would be powered based on how well you did in the objective. So right now, you know, the top one being held by Smash Mouth All-Stars, with 2 up here in this lane. Both teams making sure to constantly soak the lane, which is very important. These Zerg phases can last for a very, very long time, so you don't want to lose out on XP. You don't want to lose out on the ability to get a little bit of extra damage, particularly in the lane where you know your Zerg are going to be released. So both teams prioritizing that. They're making sure to hold the bottom, but we do have a 4-man rotation. This is going to create a 4v3 situation where all of a sudden Banzai Legends is going to be at a disadvantage. That Mr. Math doing all he can to hold on this point for now, and is doing a pretty good job, but he is going to start getting pretty low here from the continued poke. Solo completely out of mana, but that Mr. Math getting very low. Jay doing all he can to try and sustain, but it is not going to happen, and for now at least they will swap. But that was held for quite a while there on the top. I actually missed that, but Medivh was able to get up there. The good doctor getting up there to be able to get even more Zerg control. And they're going to be able to charge it up to 90, but now for the first time, we will see Smash Mouth All-Stars controlling both beacons. The question is, how long can they keep it? The top one is not being contested at all, but this bottom one is going to be taken back as Greymane is going to go down. Nice rotation there from Banzai Legends, being able to capture the bottom. Only 34% of the Zerg coming in, but a lot more damage on the top right now than the bottom. Chromie's going to go down in the bottom lane to Mac, Burger King, and Jay. So, nice pick off there to be able to get Chromie out of this, and they're going to start catching up in the battle of the Siege as they're able to get that front wall, as well as the, yeah, they're actually going to get the entire front wall here. A nice capitalization here as they are able to hold the bottom, not in any huge hurry to rotate heroes up to try and get that top one, as we do see 3 members are up here for Smash Mouth All-Stars. We're going to see a root there from Snail Pound onto the Doctor, but he's going to be able to walk away from that after making himself invulnerable. Also going to see Medivh going ahead and portaling in and out. So showing pretty good mastery of that character right now is the Doctor. Medivh, one of the harder characters in the game to actually master. But we do see a big rotation up here from Smash Mouth All-Stars, going ahead and doing a great job of pushing, and the Goose is in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to get the shield from the Doctor. Jay also going to get rooted here, but Solo not having the abilities to capitalize on it there on that root. Would like to see a little bit better coordination between Solo and Snail Pound here, but we will see the ult coming out, but a very, very nice pre-shielding by the Doctor to be able to completely negate any damage that was going to come down on Mac Burger King there. Meanwhile, in the bottom, we see the battle raging on between the 2 tanks over who's going to have that beacon. Right now, nobody owns it, it looks like. But we will see the constant back and forth here in this top, this 4v4. The Doctor's actually going to have to go back. He's completely out of mana, and Goose taking a lot of damage as the wave continues to push in, not getting a whole lot of damage for now, at least, on the structure as they do continue to push back. Medivh is actually looks like he's going to go to the bottom, but so is Grar phase shifting down here, and that Mr. Matt is actually getting very, very low here. Medivh is actually going to have to throw the shield out, but that is going to mean both beacons for now are held by Smash Mouth Legends, and you guys will be able to see how quickly this charges when you're able to hold both of these. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but if they can continue to hold this, they are actually going to win the race to 100. But both teams are going to have a very big Zerg push on each side. We will see the Polybomb come out, as well as Emerald Wind to stall, but that is going to result in Smash Mouth All-Stars getting to 100% over Banzai Legends, but their Zerg push is still very, very commendable at 90%. However, we see both Ultralisks coming out on the top lane. We'll have to see which team has the better response to this, as finally, almost 9 minutes into the match, here come the Zerg. Level 10s have been picked up on both sides, and the Zerg are pushing in to both of these structures, but most of both teams are up in the top here, trying to deal with this top one. The top fort is going to go down, of course, with both of these Ultralisks. A little bit of an advantage to Smash Mouth All-Stars. With only the one Ultralisk, not as much damage coming down onto Smash Mouth All-Stars towers here, and Goose doing all she can to try and push there, but ultimately it will be pushed back by Zol and the superior wave clear from that bottom push. It is a 3v2 up in the top, however, as they are pushing the Zerg wave back. Zagara is going to go down in that bottom lane to that 2v3 situation. And the Zerg have finally been defeated. Advantage gained there, surprisingly, by, or not surprisingly, by Smash Mouth All-Stars, who had the bigger push there. Johanna also going down. Nice polymorph and combo with the dive in there from Greymane. Being able to get that kill. Right now, a very, very even match overall, though. 4-4. Slight structural advantage going over to Smash Mouth All-Stars here, as their fort is still alive in that bottom lane where the Zerg were pressing. And Mac Burger King taking a ton of harass and a kill there from Solo. The Q build coming out in a big, big way. Let's take a look at how many stacks. All 25 stacks. Quest is complete. So, no problems there for Chromie. Let's see. There we go. As we do see, we're going to see, but again, that protective barrier coming out from the Doctor to be able to save them from the rewind. Very, very nice. Goose doing what they can to try and clean up that top lane. The siege camp picked up. Looks like the rotation out here is they're gonna pick up the bruisers, finish this off. Our Smash Mouth All-Stars. Nice invade to be able to get that bottom camp as well, but the Doctor is scouting this out. They do have the information they need to try to invade here, but it doesn't look like they're gonna make a rotation in time. Instead, electing to just go ahead and go down and put some pressure on this bottom fort. See if they can catch up in the structure advantage, but here comes the bruisers. They're going to also have to deal with the bruisers here, as they have really little to no help, but they are going to get the fort down, so that's a very nice victory there for Banzai. Catching up in level, they're only about a little less than a level behind, but for now, they are missing that 13 talent tier, so kind of a big deal at the moment, as the Q build really starting to hurt, and you see chunking that health with those constant Qs coming in. And Mac Burger King, man, just in a ton of trouble here. Snail Pound with a very aggressive rotation through the back. We're going to see Polybomb coming out on him, trying to take advantage, but the Bright Lane will go ahead and phase shift in. We're going to see the rewind coming out. Stasis is going to hit that Mr. Matt there to be able to keep him alive, along with the Doctor putting that bubble on, and so much sustain here in this 4v5. With, of course, Zagara up in the top, capturing that top beacon. However, the bottom one has been taken by Smash Mouth All-Stars, and the rotation is coming from Zol to be able to go up there and get it. So for now, at least, they are going to hold both. Are going to start getting this charge out on the beacons. We'll have to see how that goes in the top lane. However, a lot going on here in the bottom, as that Mr. Matt has pushed them successfully over. Zol goes down in the top lane to Goose. So they are going to be able to recapture that for now. And look at the damage coming out from Solo. Medivh is finally going to be finished off here. But and there it is. We see it as not needing Greymane. Solo not really needing Chef Pablo to get a lot of these finishing blows. Probably just doing it by herself. Pretty impressive so far. A lot of 45k coming out from Solo right now. Just incredible stats. We will see Chef Pablo going ahead and rotating to the top here. So for the moment, at least, they are going to hold both of these again. They've gotten their charge up to 50, and they're going to continue to hold these beacons for now. Blackout is going to have to step out here, though. 3-man rotation, but a ton of damage coming out on Goose. Yet again, Solo doing a nice job of being able to bring out that damage. The rewind is actually going to connect onto Jay. A lot of damage coming out there, but it's actually going to be Zagara that goes down first. Chef Pablo taking a ton of heat and is actually going to go down here. This is going to turn into a 2v3, or I should say a 2-for-3 situation. But that Mr. Matt also in a lot of trouble here. But Jay, gets chunked by the Q. Snail Pound and Blackout coming to get the finishing blow there. And it looks like this is going to be a complete shutout for Smash Mouth All-Stars. 100-0 on this phase as they are approaching level 16. A little bit of B-stepping even coming out here from Solo. Solo is pumped. All of the B-stepping and all of the Zerg are coming down the lane to follow up that B-stepping. This is going to get a little bit ugly. You can see the Zerg push up here is minimal or maybe non-existent, but all of it is down here. That Mr. Math doing what he can to try and get in there and clean up some of this Zerg push, but both Ultralisks still alive as that first fort goes down, and it's going to be a full court press here. It looks like a full rotation, a little bit of a slow rotation, but they're all still here. The stasis is going to come out from Mac Burger King, from Jay there to be able to prevent the rewind, or I should say the time loop from Solo. Very nice usage of the ult there to be able to keep him alive, because otherwise I fear for Mac Burger King's life. Solo's had his number all game long. Medivh trying to get tricky with those portals to try and distract and harass, but the Doctor ultimately not able to do a whole lot with that. Ton of damage coming out from that Mr. Math, and there it is. And the response, getting a lot of damage on the back end even from the Doctor. And Mac Burger King takes a ton of damage right in the face from Solo yet again. Gonna be forced to be. And the Zerg push is not even done yet. They have taken out nearly the entire front wall here of that bottom keep of Banzai Legends. But the Doctor saying hi. I guess he just wanted to let everyone know that he's there. I gotta love the back and forth coming out from these teams, the breviary, if you will. And there are two teams that are also very well established in Chair League, not new to the process. Know how to have fun in Chair League. And we are seeing both of these camps on the bottom part of the map being picked up. Of course, the Bruiser's a little bit more valuable than the Siege camp on this one, so ultimately we will see the Bruisers of Smash Mouth winning on that side. But meanwhile, a ton of damage coming out on Blackout here. Level 16s have been picked up by Banzai Legends, but Brightwing is able to phase shift in to save Blackout. Blackout's going to take a step out to be able to get some heals from that passive ability. But Medivh is going to go down. Solo being able to get the poke damage from far away to finish that off. Very, very impressive. As the kill count continues to go the way of Chromie and Solo. And the B-stepping is not done either. Ton of poke coming out on Jay yet again from that Q. Landing those Qs like boss. Mac Burger King getting very, very low here. Johanna's going to go down from that go for the throat. Reset on Chef Pablo. Going out, the Aegis will come out, but that's only going to save Jay for a moment. Mac Burger King also very, very low here. And we'll have to see if they... And it is going to be a kill from Solo yet again. Got that number, and they're immediately going to go to boss. So this boss, a very, very easy to kill boss. Not a whole lot of health, so as soon as you make a rotation to it, you're pretty much guaranteed to get yourself a win if you have just a 10 to 15 seconds of free time, which they definitely do here. The Doctor is going to be able to scout this out, but he's not going to be able to do a whole lot in the way of trying to capture it. And a great time to pick up the boss. This is going to be pushing during the beacon phases, as both of these will probably be picked up here by Smash Mouth All-Stars. This is a very snowbally map. Once you get some sort of advantage, you can really press it quite a lot. They've got boss in the top lane. They're starting to charge the Zerg. There's a good chance that this boss will be able to be cleaned up here for the side of Smash Mouth, or for the side of Banzai. But Smash Mouth All-Stars is not going to make it easy. They've captured both of these beacons, and they're keeping Brightwing at least down here to try and hold this, but is actually going to let Jay pick that up for the moment, as that's going to turn into a support battle over who's going to be keeping a hold of that beacon. But for now, at least, has been able to stall it out. But Jay is being collapsed on here, and it's only a matter of time before Jay goes down, and this is going to be recaptured. At the very least, though, stalling out long enough on those beacons to allow Banzai Legends to clean up the boss. So at least they don't have to deal with a 100 Zerg push and the boss at the same time. So a little bit of value out of Ariel's death there, but you still hate to see that this late in the game. Meanwhile, a rotation here from Banzai Legends trying to take up that top. They do capture it for a little while, but ultimately it looks like they're going to get pushed off here. That Mr. Matt taking a lot of heat. And actually, Greymane is going to go down here. Two members in the Maw as they Still very low, however, and they are going to be able to finish them off as soon as they come out, along with getting that 100 push. So ultimately a 1 for 2 exchange there. Ariel is coming back, but it's still going to be a 4v3 situation as this Zerg push comes into the top. Again, not much in the way of Zerg. Just a little teeny tiny force in this bottom lane that will be easily dealt with. And but the full might of the Zerg is here in the top lane, ready to start taking out this top wall, and is going to move on to the keep. The Doctor getting rooted here is going to take no damage because of that Aegis, which is a nice combo. Going to actually portal out, however, is going to be dragged back. Is going to shield himself, but isn't going to be enough. The stun comes down. Blackout getting a ton of harass on the Doctor. The shield's going to come out. The root will still come out, still on the chase to Snellpound. He wants the Doctor in a bad way here, but is going to have to end up backing out. Not able to get enough damage from Solo to be able to finish that off that time. But Zol! It's completely blown up, as does Johanna. So we've got 2 kills there, 1 for 1, as they do end up walking away after Zol came down there, but they do get the keep. That's the big headline here. Top keep is down. Smash Mouth Legends do, or as to say, Smash Mouth All-Stars. Oh, Goose taking so much heat. And actually, Blackout's going to get in here and try to finish this, but completely whiffs on the Stormbolt. However, they are able to get a double kill there out of that. Or it's a 1 for 1, actually. Brightwing goes down on one side, Zagara on the other, and that Aegis will save Mac Burger King. The Doctor trying to... Actually, the Doctor is able to get him down, or keep him alive with that shield. Solo trying to do everything she can, but between the Aegis of Oriel and the shield of the Doctor, able to keep Mac Burger King completely healthy there. Solo continues to try and poke from a distance, doing everything he can to try and put pressure on there, but ultimately it looks like he might just get caught out of here a little bit, as the Doctor has scouted out where he is and is chasing, and even gonna burn Polybomb on that. 40-second cooldown, not too big a deal, but probably wasn't necessary. Yeah, and Chef Pablo I couldn't have said it better myself. That Medivh shield timing was absolutely insane. Meanwhile, the response here, this is exactly what Banzai Legends needed. This is going to give them an opportunity to get boss. They've got plenty of time before their opponents are up. They've got plenty of damage to be able to do this. And Medivh. That Mr. Matt taking a lot of damage, though, from the boss. Ultimately, we'll be able to stay alive. As the beacons come up, similar situation to what we saw before. We're gonna have 2 mercenary camps pushing in the top lane, and this top beacon, or this top pen, will be filled up with the Zerg or the side of Banzai Legends. So if they are able to get this, they could be putting a lot of pressure here. Right away, they go capture the top. No one has gone and rotated to capture the top beacon just yet, but they do get the bottom beacon to start off here. And here we go. That Mr. Matt will go ahead and get the top one. Chef Pablo going to grab that camp to be able to try and help them with the boss. But the beacons are going to start charging for the side of Banzai Legends. This could be the comeback opportunity that they were looking for. They do have level 20, so they are on even talents here. But the fight is breaking out in the top. This is a full 5v5. But risking a lot here is Smash Mouth All-Stars, as both these beacons are charging. You don't have to be standing on them to charge them. They're holding them fair and square. So they're holding it. A ton of damage still coming out. But Blackout very, very low. The Doctor's actually going to have to take a step back. Roar's going to go ahead and Emerald win to get out. So no real value gained there from Smash Mouth All-Stars. However, they do lose this Zerg phase 100-0.